Hi, I'm Sam.
And I'm Katie.
And welcome to this online Managing Angry Feelings workshop that Healthy Minds have created.
This workshop is suitable for primary age children. We would recommend that young people in primary school complete this with the support of a parent. We are here today to learn some new ways to calm our bodies and our minds. The aims of the Managing Angry Feelings workshop is to explore what angry feelings are and how they impact us, to explore how our angry feelings can affect the other people around us, to learn ways to better manage our angry feelings, to try using relaxation and mindfulness. By the end of the workshop, you will have additional tools to take away and practice in order to better manage strong feelings of anger. Learning new ways to cope with anger is a bit like learning to ride a bike. You might not get it right the first time you try it. You might need to start off with stabilisers, but the more you practice, the better you become. This principle is the same for any strategies you learn here today. Practice makes perfect. Make sure you try things more than once.
Throughout the workshop, we will be teaching you coping skills to help manage angry feelings. You will get an opportunity to try out the strategies throughout the video using your workbook. If you have not yet downloaded your workbook, you can click on the link on the website to download one now. If you don't have a printer, you can complete the activities on paper. Once we have explained a strategy, we will ask you to pause the video and give it a go. Once you have completed the activity, you will just press play again to move on. So before we start, make sure you have everything you need: booklet or paper, pens and colouring pencils, and maybe even some craft materials if you have any available.
Anger is a completely normal emotion, just like sadness or worry. We all get angry sometimes, even adults too. Anger helps us to cope with threats, hurt and frustration. However, it is important to release our anger in the right way. Anger can sometimes become an issue when it happens too often, or if it is starting to impact on your life. For example, when you use it to get your own way, or when you start to hurt others or yourself, when you bottle it up, which leads to us exploding like a volcano because we just can't cope.
There are lots of things that can make us angry or frustrated. For example, bullying, school pressure, stress at home, when people don't listen, or when something feels unfair. People can get angry about lots of different things, and this is okay as long as we're able to deal with our anger in a positive way. So instead of hurting others, we need to find ways to calm our bodies and brains down and look at ways we can solve the problem. Pause the video to fill in your own volcano in your booklet on page 3 and write down the things that make you feel angry. You can ask family to help you with this if you want to. When you have done this, press play again and we will go on to look at how anger affects our bodies. Our bodies may react in one of 3 ways when we feel a sense of threat or danger. For example, if we came across a bear in the woods, our body would do one of 3 things in order to protect ourselves. For example, we might go into fight mode and fight the bear, we might run away from the bear, or we might try and stay as still as possible in the hope that the bear doesn't notice us.
Okay, so if we think about more of a modern day example, such as having a big test coming up, we might go into fight mode. That might see us becoming a little bit more snappy towards people. Flight mode might see us trying to avoid having to take the test or trying to skip school. And freeze mode might see us struggling to sort of think clearly during the test. Our brains can sometimes make us think that we are in danger when we are not, and this falsely activates the fight, flight or freeze response. For example, we may start to feel angry or worried if we are taking an exam, or an adult takes our iPad or PlayStation away from us. This response causes adrenaline to be released, and adrenaline makes our body systems speed up. It can make our heart beat faster so that it quickly pumps blood to the big muscles in our arms and legs, preparing us to either fight or run away. When lots of blood is pumped to these muscles, we can sometimes feel like we have jelly legs, or our hands might start to shake. This is normal because our heart is working really quickly.
We might feel sick and it may feel like we have butterflies in our stomach. This is because when we feel under attack, our digestive system, so our stomach area, starts to slow down because this can't help us in an attack, and this can be why we feel a bit sick. When adrenaline is pumping around our body, we can also start to feel hot and we may get sweaty palms. This is a side effect of our system being speeded up.
Sometimes we can misunderstand these symptoms as something bad happening to us, but these symptoms won't hurt us. The key is to recognise the symptoms of anger when they occur, for example, our heart beating faster, and use these physical signs to try and find a way to calm our body and our minds back down. When we start to notice that our body is changing and we are starting to feel angry, this can be the first stage to try and do something different to calm ourselves down.
In your booklet on page 4, there is a list of physical sensations that you might feel when you get angry. Pause the video and discuss these physical feelings with your family and tick the boxes that apply to you. When you have done this, you can press play and we will be going on to look at the anger firework. The anger firework helps you to find your triggers, or what makes you angry, and explores how this impacts thoughts, emotions, physical sensations, and behaviours. To put out the firework, we must have strategies in place to calm our bodies and minds to manage our angry feelings.
The match looks at the situation which has triggered your anger. For example, my sister broke my game. The fuse looks at what you were thinking and feeling. For example, I was cross, she is mean, it took me ages to make that game. The firework, that's the physical sensations that you feel in your body, such as your heart beating really quickly. The explosion, this is what your anger looks like. What did you do and how did you behave? For example, maybe you got really angry and ruined your sister's painting. The water, this is what puts out the firework. This is how you calm down. For example, maybe you talk to your mum about how you're feeling, or you do some deep breathing. Completing the anger firework can help you to find ways to calm down when you feel angry and help to understand what makes you feel angry in the first place.
You can now pause the video, and on page 5 in your booklet you can complete your own anger firework and look at what makes you feel angry and look at what you can do to calm down. Once you've done that, you can restart the video and we will look at how our anger affects other people.
Sometimes we can take our angry feelings out on other people, either physically by what we do or emotionally by what we say, and this can impact our friendships and our family relationships. For example, if we get angry at school and push a friend away, this could hurt them physically because they might fall over, but it might also leave them feeling sad or worried that they have done something wrong. You can now pause the video and, with the support of your family, write down in your booklet on page 6 who could be affected by your anger and how it might affect them. When you have done that, you can restart the video and we will be going on to look at the anger meter.
The anger meter can be used to help you understand your anger triggers and warning signs. On the anger meter, you can record your triggers and use the colours to show the intensity of the feeling. You can also write what symptoms or behaviours you display at each level, for example, tense, clenched fists, throwing things. It is also important to distinguish between how you feel and what happens at the various colours or levels.
As an example of how the angerometer works, we are now going to tell you about Alex, who's having a really bad day. And on the screen, as his day goes on, we will see how his angerometer changes. In your booklet on page 7, you have your own angerometer. Have a look at this while we tell you about Alex, and think about how your meter might move if this was happening to you. Alex woke up to the sound of his little sister screaming in his room because she wanted his favourite toy. Alex argues with his sister because she woke him up and is being really annoying. He looks outside the window and sees it's raining. He knows he's going to have to walk to school and he's going to get wet. Alex ran downstairs excited for his favourite Cocoa Pops for breakfast, but his mum says that his little sister has had the last bowl, so he's going to have Weetabix. Mum says that they're running late and Alex has to rush to get ready for school or else they're going to be late. Mum tells Alex that they're having pizza tonight. He loves pizza. Alex arrives late to school and has to go through reception and enter the class, but everyone has already started their work. Alex forgot his homework that was due in today. At lunch, Alex is given his least favourite school meal and it was gross. At lunch, they go out and play as it has stopped raining, and he and all his friends played their favourite game in the playground. Alex's little sister breaks his iPad so he can't watch his favourite YouTuber. It stopped raining, so Alex is really excited to play out in the garden, but after 5 minutes of playing football, he kicks the ball over the fence. After his pizza for dinner, Alex is allowed pudding. He asks for the biggest slice of chocolate cake, and it was yummy. Alex steps on a Lego brick in his room because it's so messy. It's Friday, which means Alex gets to stay up a little bit later and watch a film with his family. We are now going to talk you through things that you can do to refocus your mind when you are starting to feel angry. When you do start to feel angry, it is important to bring yourself back to the present moment and try to concentrate on other things. One way that you can do this is by focusing on your senses. This can be completed using distraction tools such as the 5-4-3-2-1 technique. For example, looking at 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can hear, 3 things that you can feel, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. Sam and I will now demonstrate to you how this technique can be used. Okay Sam, we're now going to do the 5-4-3-2-1 technique. To start with, can you tell me 5 things that you can see in the room?
So I can see a TV, a sofa, a plant, a photo, and the carpet.
Can you now tell me 4 things that you can hear?
What I can hear the birds outside, I can hear people talking on the TV, I can hear some music playing from somewhere, and I can hear a car outside.
We're now going to look at 3 things that you can feel.
I can feel the sofa, I could feel the carpet, and I could also feel the door because it's quite a rough textured door.
Sam, can you tell me 2 things that you can smell at the moment?
2 things I can smell. I can smell a candle burning and I can smell fabric conditioner on my clothes.
And lastly, is there something that you can taste, or is there something that you would like to taste?
And I can't taste anything at the minute, but what I'd really like to taste is some chocolate.
Okay, so Sam, we've just done the 5-4-3-2-1 technique, and we've done that in its very basic form. There's different ways that we can try and use this as well. So, for example, when we're looking at things that we can see, we could try and really pick out some detail. You told me in the room that you're in, you can see a photo. Could you tell me a little bit about what is in the photo and pick out a bit of detail within that for me?
So in the photo, it's on the wall and it's a picture of me when I'm stood with an elephant behind me. It's a very green picture, there's lots of trees in it, blue sky, and there's a few clouds in the sky as well.
Sometimes picking out that detail can be really useful because it can really help to distract us and help us think about maybe positive memories. The other way that we can use it, because sometimes maybe if we always feel angry, maybe in the same class, and we've looked around the room quite a few times, we can try and use a little bit of visualization. So maybe we could think about a favourite place that we've been to, or somewhere that makes us feel really happy, and we could think about that place and do the 5-4-3-2-1 technique for that. So Sam, you and I are going to go to the beach now and we're going to do the 5-4-3-2-1 there.
So thinking about 5 things I can see at the beach, I can see the sand, I can see the sea, there's some seagulls in the sky, I can see them, I can see some arcades, and I can also see an ice cream shop. 4 things I can hear children playing, I can hear the sea, there's a few cars driving past, and I can hear the seagulls making some noise. The 3 things that I can feel the sand, I can feel an ice cream, and I can feel a bucket and spade. 2 things I can smell, I can definitely smell donuts, and I can definitely smell the salt that's coming from the sea. And 1 thing that I can taste, I can also taste the salt that's coming from the sea if I breathe through my mouth. So thinking about 5 things I can see at the beach, I can see the sand, I can see the sea.
Okay, so we've just looked at some ways that you can use the 5-4-3-2-1 technique to help distract yourself if you're starting to feel angry. Here are some other examples of things that you can try. You could try some relaxation, mindfulness. You could do something that you enjoy, like reading, listening to music, playing a game or watching TV. You could speak to someone that you trust, spend time with family or friends. You could go for a walk or sit in the garden and get some fresh air. You could get some exercise, so you could go for a run or play football or do some yoga. You could have a bath or shower and spend time with a family pet, or you could do something creative like art or baking. In your booklet on page 9, there is a section where you can start to look at the things that you can do to be refocusing your mind when you start to feel angry. Pause the video now, you can ask a family member to support you and start to have a think about the things that you could be doing to distract yourself. When you have done this, you can restart the video. We will be going on next to look at problem solving. A self-soothe box is a useful strategy to use when you are feeling a variety of emotions, including anger, sadness and worry. It is personal to each individual and can be kept throughout your life and continuously updated. We recommend sourcing a shoebox and taking time to decorate this how you would like it, to ensure it's personal to you. You can use the self-soothe box as a tool to help you calm your body and mind when you are finding it hard to manage your angry feelings. We will now show you an example of a box which may give you some ideas of items that you could put into your box at home. Okay, so I'm going to take you through and show you my self-soothe box. I know we said that you could use a shoebox. I'll be honest, I cheated with mine. I bought a box, like a gift box to use because I'm not the most artistic. So feel free to cheat too if you don't want to decorate a shoebox. So some ideas of things to put in. Using the 5 senses can be a good idea. So thinking about things that you like to look at, things you like to smell, touch, etc. So just some ideas of things to look at then. So I've got a reminder of sort of square breathing and the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique in there, because that can remind me to do those if I'm starting to feel stressed or angry. I've got photos. Again, that can remind me of people I love and good memories, good times. This is a card my best friend sent me, so again that reminds me of her. And then I've got postcards in here that remind me of trips that I've taken and places that we've been. In the same sense, I've also got tickets of places that we've been to as well, because there's good memory attached to those. And I've also got photos of like one of my favourite places that we've visited. Other bits that I've got in there, so I've got some crayons and some colouring in sheets. Some people like to do colouring in. I find it quite soothing, so that's a nice idea of things you could put in there. Things linked to hobbies, so I like my crocheting, so I've got a ball of wool and a crochet hook, so I could do that, and that would give me just a little bit of time out and something else to focus on if I was starting to feel angry or worried. Touch-wise, we've got a stress ball. So this is a really nice one. It always feels quite cool and it's nice to touch, but it can be quite therapeutic to give it a good squeeze as well. In the same sense, I've got a little pumpkin that I made, one I did earlier. That's a nice little stress ball as well. And I think most people like slime. So having a play around with slime, that can be a nice one to pop in there. In terms of smell, I've got favourite body lotion, so that always smells nice. Again, that can be a nice distraction. And a glitter jar that we made. Quite simple to do. You can find ways to do that kind of if you Google it. So that can be a nice idea. And then just a few other little bits. So I've got a few trivia cards in there. So if I was starting to feel angry and wanted a distraction, so a bit like the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique, you could make these yourself. You could do it on anything from mine Harry Potter, but you could do Disney or another film or book that you like, and you could just sort of think of different questions, and again, good distraction. And touch-wise, I've got a couple of stones in here as well, just to finish off, that we picked up on when we went to the beach. So it's the first time that we took the puppy to the beach. So it reminds me of that, and it's also, they're quite smooth and cool to touch as well. So that's just a few ideas of things that I've got in mine. In your booklets you'll find a few more ideas that you can look at for you to fill your self-soothe box.
Sometimes our problems can feel overwhelming, like there are no solutions, and this can cause frustration or anger when we just aren't sure how to solve them. Problem solving helps you distance yourself from the problem to help you think about all the different solutions that there may be. Problem solving has 7 steps. Identify the problem you want to focus on. Identify all possible solutions. Looking at what's good and bad about each solution. Selecting a solution. Develop a plan. Put that plan into action. And review the plan. We'll now show you a demonstration as to how problem solving can be used. So Katie, can you tell me what problem it is that you're facing at the minute?
Yeah, I was supposed to be seeing a friend at the weekend, and she called and cancelled at the last minute. I got really angry with her. She did say that we could sort of try rearrange and do it a different day, but I just told her not to bother, and that I didn't want to see her again.
So let's have a think of all the different ways you could fix that problem. So thinking back, what could you have done differently? And it doesn't matter if it sounds silly or ridiculous, just all the ideas you can think of.
I suppose I could have held off sort of speaking to her until I'd calmed down a little bit, so maybe not pick the phone up straight away. I could have explained that I was feeling a bit angry and asked her to call me later, so I wasn't sort of speaking to her when I was really angry. And maybe I could have done a bit of deep breathing before I spoke to her, so I was a little bit calmer.
Let's have a look at what's good and bad about each idea. So what is good and bad about delaying speaking to her until you would calm down?
So a good thing about it, if I'd delayed speaking to her, I might not have ended up saying things that I regretted and sort of speaking to her when I was angry. Maybe a bad thing about delaying it, I don't know, maybe I wouldn't have heard her reasons for having to cancel, and if I didn't know why she'd cancelled, that might have left me feeling kind of angry throughout the day, so I might have actually got more angry.
So let's have a look at the same thing for the next one. So what's good and bad about explaining that you were feeling a bit angry and asking her to call you later?
So a good thing about explaining how I was feeling would be that obviously she would know that I was feeling angry and a bit let down. I can't really think of a bad thing about letting her know that and asking her to call me later. I can't think of a bad thing for that.
And finally, what's good and bad about doing some deep breathing before speaking to her?
A good thing about doing deep breathing is it might have calmed me down a little bit before I spoke to her, so maybe I wouldn't have been feeling quite so angry when we did speak. A bad thing, I don't know, maybe while we were speaking I might have started to feel angry again, so that might not have helped during the conversation.
So based on what we've just talked about, looking at the good and bad aspects of each idea, which idea is the best idea that you think would be most likely to solve that problem if it came up again?
I think I would probably, if it happened again, let my friend know that I was feeling angry, listen to what she has to say, but maybe ask her to call me a bit later when I'd had time to calm down and we could maybe rearrange at that point.
So looking at making a plan then for if this came up in the future, what would you say if this happened in the future? How would you say it to your friend?
I'd probably just explain to her that I was feeling angry, so I would let her know that that was the emotion that I was feeling and that I was feeling a little bit let down. I might explain to her that I didn't want to maybe speak to her just at the moment because I didn't want to sort of say something in anger that I might regret and just ask her if she could give me a little bit of time and that maybe I'd call her back in, I don't know, maybe half an hour when I'd kind of got my head around things and calmed down a little bit. So I just ask her for time, I think.
So if this situation came up again, you've now got a plan that you could use and put into place straight away. So you would then go on to step 6 and doing it. And then after you had done the plan, it would be about looking back, seeing how it went, seeing if it solved the problem and seeing if your friend was more understanding. And if she was, then you could use it again. If not, we could have a look back and maybe pick a different solution for next time. Mindfulness and relaxation can improve both physical health and emotional well-being. We can use a variety of skills such as breathing, guided meditation, muscle relaxation and mindfulness to manage our stress better and reduce these symptoms before they become too extreme. It is important to practice these strategies when we are not stressed to make it easier to use them when we are. You can find several different relaxation methods to try in your booklets on page 12 and 13. We also have lots of videos of different relaxation techniques on our website, so please do check them out. You can find the link on the final page of your booklet. For this workshop, we are going to be talking you through a guided deep breathing exercise. This is just one way you can create calm when you are starting to feel angry. I'm going to talk to you about finger breathing, which can be a really good way to help calm down if you're feeling stressed or worried. It's perfect because you don't need anything with you apart from your hand, so you can do it anywhere, anytime, and no one has to know that you're doing it. I want you to sit in a comfortable position with your back nice and straight. As with any breathing exercise, it's really important to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. To start with, take one of your hands and stretch your fingers wide apart. Then, take your index finger of your other hand and place it at the bottom of your thumb. All you need to do is trace around each finger, so you'll go up your thumb, pause at the top, and down the other side. Then, up your index finger, pause at the top, and down the other side, and so on. To add the breathing, you want to breathe in every time you go up a finger, hold it with each pause, and breathe out as you go down the other side. You've got 5 fingers, which gives you 5 breaths, but you can do it as many times as you like. So let's do it together. Breathe in, pause, breathe out. Breathe in, pause, breathe out. Breathe in, pause, breathe out. Breathe in, pause, breathe out, and last one, breathe in, pause, and breathe out. And if you need to, you can go back the other way, or you can start again from your thumb. Now it's super simple and really effective for helping to slow down your breathing and your heart rate. We hope you feel calm and relaxed after that. Remember, you can use this to help you calm down no matter where you are if you start to feel angry.
We're going to look next at what Alex could do differently. We're going to take some time to look back at Alex's story and have a think about what he could do at each stage to try and calm himself down. Are there any strategies that he could do to stop himself from exploding? Do you think Alex would have reached the mega mad stage if he had used these things? On pages 14 and 15 in your booklet, you will see Alex's story. Take some time to read through it and think about what Alex could do to calm himself down. When you're ready, press play on the video again. And when we come back, we'll take you through some ideas that we came up with that we thought Alex could try to calm himself down to help him not get into the red stage of his angerometer. Alex woke up to the sound of his little sister screaming in his room because she wanted his favourite toy. Alex argues with his sister because she woke him up and is being really annoying. He looks outside the window and sees it's raining. He knows he's going to have to walk to school and he's going to get wet. Alex catches himself thinking this and tells himself that hopefully it won't be raining for too long. Alex ran downstairs excited for his favourite Cocoa Pops for breakfast, but his mum says that his little sister has had the last bowl, so he's going to have Weetabix. Alex tries to distract himself by completing the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 activity. Mum says that they're running late and Alex has to rush to get ready for school or else they're going to be late. Mum tells Alex that they're having pizza tonight. He loves pizza. Alex arrives late to school and has to go through reception and enter the class, but everyone has already started their work. Alex does some deep breathing exercises whilst walking into the class to calm himself down. Alex forgot his homework that was due in today. At lunch, Alex is given his least favourite school meal and it was gross. At lunch, they go out and play as it has stopped raining and he and all his friends played their favourite game in the playground. Alex enjoys running around and doing some physical activity with his friends. Alex's little sister breaks his iPad so he can't watch his favourite YouTuber. Alex tells his mum how annoyed he feels and then he goes to use his self-soothe box to distract himself and cheer himself up. It stopped raining, so Alex is really excited to play out in the garden, but after 5 minutes of playing football, he kicks the ball over the fence. Alex has a go at problem solving to see if he can figure out how to get his ball back. After his pizza for dinner, Alex is allowed pudding. He asks for the biggest slice of chocolate cake and it was yummy. Alex steps on a Lego brick in his room because it's so messy. It's Friday, which means Alex gets to stay up a little bit later and watch a film with his family. Sometimes we're not able to cope with change by ourselves, and this is okay. But it's important to remember that there are lots of great services out there should you ever need someone to talk to. In your booklet on page 19, there is a list of useful websites and telephone numbers for services that may be helpful.
For example, Kooth.com is a free online counselling service where you can book weekly appointments with a counsellor or use forums to chat to other young people who may be facing similar issues. Childline also has a similar free online chat counselling service.
You could also contact Healthy Minds and CAM's Here For You advice line if further support is needed, or as Sam has already mentioned previously, we have lots of resources on the LPFT website such as relaxation videos that you could look at. We have now completed the Managing Angry Feelings workshop. During the workshop we have looked at what is anger and how it impacts us, how our anger impacts other people, how to notice what our triggers are, positive ways to manage our angry feelings, and we've looked at relaxation and mindfulness.
We hope you've enjoyed the workshop and found it useful. We would really appreciate your feedback, so if you could complete the Survey Monkey at the top of the page, that would be really helpful.